You won't believe your eyes when you see the eerie mystery of the top 100 colorized eerie photos not suitable for all viewers. These photos bring the chills of history to life in haunting hues. Watch with caution.
The tube stations became a home from home for tens of thousands, but the best place to be was in a big private shelter like those under the Dorchester or the Savoy.
Image 100. Woman and child in an underground tunnel during World War II. Here we see a brave woman kneeling beside a bed, comforting a child in an underground tunnel during the bombing of London in January 1945. Number 99. Drunken man at the Hortobágy Steppe, Hungary, 1932. Now this is quite an intriguing shot. Here's a picture of a drunken man on a farm at the Hortobágy Steppe in Hungary, taken in 1932. Number 98. Camberley Kate and her stray dogs, England, 1962. Meet Camberley Kate, also known as Kate Ward, surrounded by her loyal stray dogs in England. She was a true guardian of these furry friends, caring for over 600 dogs throughout her life. Her compassion truly shines through the lens. Number 97. Austrian boy receives new shoes, 1946. This photograph speaks of hope and recovery after the devastation of World War II. It shows a touching moment as an Austrian boy receives a new pair of shoes in 1946. A simple act of kindness, but it meant the world to him. Number 96. Woman cutting her birthday cake in Iran, 1973. Birthdays are special moments of joy and celebration. Here we see a woman in Iran in 1973, surrounded by loved ones, cutting her birthday cake. They had no idea that just 5 years later, their world would forever be changed by the Islamic Revolution. Number 95. Claude Monet in his garden, 1899. In this candid shot from 1899, the iconic painter is photographed in his picturesque garden in Giverny. Number 94. University of Illinois frat boys, circa 1910. Now, let's take a glimpse into the life of university students from over a century ago. Here are the University of Illinois frat boys, enjoying the comfort of their apartment around 1910. Number 93. Joseph Stalin at 4:31 a.m. on June 22, 1941. Here's a rare moment frozen in time. At 4:31 a.m. on June 22, 1941, Joseph Stalin was photographed right after he was told about Germany's attack on the USSR, sparking the start of a brutal war. The photographer risked his life to preserve this historic moment, as the photo was meant to be destroyed. Number 92. Laurel and Hardy in an English pub, 1952. Time to lighten the mood. Look at this delightful shot of the iconic comedy duo Laurel and Hardy enjoying beers in an English pub in 1952. Their laughter was contagious on and off the screen. Number 91. The only survivors of a long journey, December 1945. Here we see the only survivors of a group of 150 Polish people who walked from Łódź, Poland to Berlin in December 1945. The journey they undertook was unimaginably challenging. Number 90. Liberated prisoner at Ebensee concentration camp, Austria, 1945. This poignant image captures the emotions of a liberated prisoner at the Ebensee concentration camp in Austria on May 8, 1945. Number 89. The Christmas Truce of 1914. During World War I, on Christmas Day 1914, around 100,000 British and German troops called a ceasefire. They decorated their trenches and even exchanged gifts, showing the humanity that can still shine amidst the darkest times. Number 88. Engineer wiring an IBM computer, 1958. Let's move ahead to the late 50s, where we see an engineer carefully wiring an IBM computer. This shot captures the beginning of the digital revolution that would shape the world we live in today. Number 87. Belgium coal miners after a day of work, circa 1900. Now, this photograph showcases the harsh realities of coal mining in Belgium around 1900. The cramped elevator brings back the memories of a grueling day's work for these miners. Number 86. 3 Ohio boys goofing around in their car, 1924. A bit of youthful fun from the 1920s. Check out these 3 Ohio boys having a blast goofing around in their car. Number 85. Australian Aborigines in chains, early 1900s. This is a somber and troubling image reflecting the dark history of the mistreatment of Australian Aborigines in the early 1900s. Number 84. Japanese anti-British propaganda poster, 1941. Here's an intriguing piece of history. A Japanese anti-British propaganda poster from 1941. It's a fascinating glimpse into the propaganda techniques used during World War II. Number 83. Winston Churchill and Charlie Chaplin on the set of City Lights. In this rare shot, we have Winston Churchill and Charlie Chaplin on the set of City Lights in 1929. Both these legends left an indelible mark on the world in their respective ways. Number 82. German woman in ruins of Cologne, 1945. The aftermath of war is never easy to witness. Here we see a German woman sitting amidst the ruins of war-torn Cologne in 1945. Number 81. The Drunk Basket in Istanbul, 1960s. Now here's an unusual but fascinating practice from the 1960s. In Istanbul, bars would hire someone to carry drunk people back to their homes. They called it the Drunk Basket Service. Number 80. When Queens Meet, 1974. A royal encounter. Here we have a mesmerizing moment when Queen Elizabeth II met the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, in 1974. 2 queens from different realms coming together. What an impressive sight.
She's a killer queen, gunfight eternity.
Number 79. Australian soldiers freed from Changi POW camp, 1945. This powerful photo captures the emotions of Australian soldiers after being freed from the notorious Changi POW camp in Singapore in 1945. Number 78. Boys sharing watermelon slices in New Orleans, 1930. Here we see 5 boys in New Orleans, Louisiana, sitting together and savoring large watermelon slices in 1930. Childhood memories like these are timeless. Number 77. Frenchman tasting Coca-Cola for the first time. Paris, 1950. Coca-Cola, a drink loved by millions worldwide. In this candid shot from 1950, we witness the joy of a Frenchman tasting Coca-Cola for the very first time in Paris. Number 76. World War I veteran playing violin with a prosthetic arm, circa 1919. This touching photograph showcases the spirit of a First World War veteran playing a violin with a prosthetic arm, circa 1919. Music has a way of healing wounds and bringing hope, even in the most challenging circumstances. Number 75. Family fun on a unique 4-person homemade swing, Finland, 1954. Here we have a unique 4-person homemade swing, bringing joy and laughter to this family's day. Number 74. Dutch boys riding an overcrowded train on Liberation Day, 1945. Liberation Day in 1945 marked a new beginning for many. This photo shows Dutch boys joyfully riding an overcrowded train, embracing their freedom as well as celebrating the end of the war. Number 73. The picture that inspired Grave of the Fireflies, 1945. This heartbreaking photo from 1945 shows a young boy carrying his baby brother during the aftermath of war. This powerful image served as the inspiration for the animated film Grave of the Fireflies, reminding us of the immense human cost of war. Number 72. Walt Disney at Disneyland's opening, 1955. Who doesn't love Disneyland? On that fateful day, July 17, 1955, Walt Disney took a final stroll through the park before its grand opening at 2:30 p.m. in Anaheim, California. With a beaming smile, he christened this magical place with a heartfelt dedication. Number 71. Ladder 3 and 9/11 Heroes. September 11, 2001 was a day that changed the world forever. Ladder 3, one of the first fire trucks on the scene at the World Trade Center, bravely rushed to help. Captain Patrick Brown led his team up the North Tower, selflessly trying to save lives. Their courage and sacrifice are commemorated by Ladder 3, now a monument at the Memorial Museum in New York City, honoring all those who put others before themselves that day. Number 70. Blackfoot tribe members at Glacier National Park, 1913. Glacier National Park in Montana is breathtaking, but its history is deeply tied to the Blackfoot Nation. Occupying the land before it became a national park, the Blackfeet faced hardships when the area was taken from them. They were later granted limited access, symbolized by a fence that once stood, restricting their entry. Number 69. A love story on a motorcycle, 51 years apart. Love knows no bounds, and these pictures prove it. A couple's passionate love is beautifully captured as they pose on the same motorbike, 51 years apart. Time may pass, but their love remains timeless, just like their classic style. Number 68. The Empire State Building after the 1945 plane crash. The Empire State Building, an iconic symbol of New York City's skyline, holds a tragic memory from July 28, 1945. On that fateful day, a B-25 bomber, in the midst of a routine test mission, crashed into the 79th floor of the building. The impact and resulting fire caused widespread devastation and claimed the lives of 14 people. Among those who witnessed the horror was Therese Fortier-Willig, who recounted her terrifying experience. She recalled flames engulfing the office, with a fellow colleague being severely injured by the fire. Amidst the chaos, 6 individuals managed to find safety in an office untouched by the flames, but the fate of others was far more grim. Number 67. San Andreas Fault after the 1906 earthquake. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake was a cataclysmic event that shook the city to its core. The San Andreas Fault, responsible for the quake, left visible scars on the landscape. Number 66. Elvis Presley's family breakfast in 1959. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, wasn't just a musical legend. He was also a devoted son and grandson. This heartwarming photograph captures the precious moment of Elvis enjoying breakfast with his father Vernon and grandmother Minnie May in 1959. Number 65. The Mangbetu people and their elongated heads. The Mangbetu people in the Democratic Republic of Congo have a unique tradition of head binding, shaping the skulls of infants into elongated forms. They see it as a symbol of power and intelligence, an insight into how different cultures interact. Number 64. Officer Clemens on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was not just a beloved children's show, but also a pioneer in positive representation. Officer Clemens, the show's first recurring black character, portrayed a kind-hearted police officer, breaking down stereotypes and setting a positive example for young viewers. Number 63. The 1,000-year-old Buddha with a mummified monk. There are some statues in the world that hold fascinating secrets within. This ancient Buddha statue, which is around 1,000 years old, was discovered to contain the mummified remains of a Buddhist master known as Lu Quan, belonging to the Chinese meditation school. The statue was brought to the Drents Museum in the Netherlands and underwent a CT scan, revealing the extraordinary find inside. The mummification process of Lu Quan was unlike the traditional preservation methods. Instead of removing the organs, they were replaced with slips of paper covered in Chinese writing.
The CT scan revealed the remains of a mummified monk sitting in the same position as the external statue.
Number 62. Radzika Godzuska, the youngest nurse in the Warsaw Uprising. Meet Radzika Godzuka, an 8-year-old nurse who fearlessly assisted in the field hospital, providing water, chasing away flies, and bringing happiness to those in need. Number 61. Native Alaskan mother with child in her hood, 1906. Native Alaskans dressed in thick fur and leather made from animal pelts, ensuring even the little ones stayed cozy. This adorable shot captures a mother with her child resting comfortably in her hood, a practical and heartwarming solution to the cold. Number 60. Robin Williams entertains at a homeless shelter, 1988. The late, great Robin Williams was not just a master comedian, but also a compassionate soul. In 1988, he visited a homeless shelter in Boston, bringing laughter and joy to those in need. Number 59. Meet Brooklyn Supreme, the world's largest horse. Move over, ordinary horses, because Brooklyn Supreme was a true giant. Weighing a whopping 3,200 pounds and standing at 19.2 hands with legs reaching 10 feet around, this majestic creature was a sight to behold. But don't let his size fool you. He was a gentle giant, even known for stealing ice cream cones from innocent kids. Number 58. A 2,000-year-old green serpentine stone mask from Teotihuacan, Mexico. Unearthed in 2011 beneath the Teotihuacan Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico, this ancient green serpentine stone mask has left archaeologists and history enthusiasts in awe. Likely placed as an offering to the gods during the pyramid's construction, this is an interesting glimpse into ancient rituals. Number 57. A young Robert De Niro with his father. Robert De Niro, the iconic actor, was born into an artistic family. His father, Robert De Niro Sr., was a painter, and despite facing challenges in his career, he remained a proud father to his talented son. De Niro Jr.'s success in acting brought pride to his father, creating a special bond between the two. Number 56. Building the Golden Gate Bridge, 1935. The Golden Gate Bridge is an engineering marvel, but its construction was no easy feat. Brave workers risked their lives building the iconic red suspension bridge. A $130,000 safety net was used to save 19 workers who fell during its construction, forming the legendary Halfway to Hell Club.
Work begins in 1933 and by 1936 is nearing completion.
Number 55. Thracian Carriage and Horses, 25-year-old discovery. In the village of Svestari, Bulgaria, archaeologists unearthed an astonishing find. A complete Thracian carriage with 2 horses buried upright in a tomb. These incredible remains provide a glimpse into life 2,500 years ago, showcasing the grandeur and significance of their occupants. Number 54. Dolly Parton and her husband Carl Dean. Love that endures. Country music legend Dolly Parton has a love story for the ages. She met her husband, Carl Dean, at a laundromat in Nashville, and they've been inseparable ever since. Their bond remains strong, and they keep their marriage private, cherishing each other in a world that adores the one and only Dolly. Number 53. Ernest Shackleton's alleged wanted ad for a South Pole expedition. Was Ernest Shackleton a time traveler or a visionary? Rumors have it that he placed a wanted ad in the Times in 1907, seeking adventurers for a South Pole expedition. While it's an exciting tale, the existence of the ad remains a mystery, with a $100 bounty for anyone who can produce an actual copy. Number 52. Spooky skeleton riders for Halloween in the 1920s. Who needs haunted houses when you can have spooky skeletal horseback riders roaming the streets on Halloween? In the 1920s, these creative costumes were a popular way to celebrate the holiday in a truly terrifying fashion. Number 51. the skull of a Roman legionnaire from the Gallic Wars. The Gallic Wars were a brutal chapter in history, fought between the Romans and the people of Gaul from 58 to 51 BC. Among the casualties was young Antoine Fravaux, whose bronze breastplate, though pierced by a cannonball, was remarkably preserved as a testament to the violence of the time. Number 50. Stephen King's first big press notice. Long before Stephen King became the undisputed master of horror, he was an aspiring writer from Maine, shopping around his spooky stories. Everything changed when he sold Carrie to Doubleday. While the hardback edition didn't make waves initially, the paperback turned it into one of the decade's biggest books. From then on, King's prolific writing career took off, captivating readers with his chilling tales that continue to haunt us to this day.
The Colorado Kid is going to be in stores on October 4th.
It's little, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
Number 49. Grand opening of the first McDonald's in Moscow, 1990. In 1990, a monumental event took place in Moscow, the grand opening of the first ever McDonald's in Russia. For the citizens of Moscow, McDonald's represented more than just fast food. It symbolized freedom and change during a time of transition. Despite the hefty prices, people lined up for hours to get a taste of America. This event marked a significant moment in history, as the Cold War thawed with the sizzling aroma of Big Macs. Number 48. Workers pose with Titanic's anchor chain, 1910. Constructing the unsinkable Titanic was a monumental task, requiring tons of high-grade steel. The massive anchor chain alone weighed about 16 tons and had to be superheated to shape it. Thousands of workers were employed in its creation, taking 2 years from start to finish. Number 47. Conrad Veidt, original inspiration for the Joker, 1928. Conrad Veidt, a master of transformation, portrayed the haunting character in The Man Who Laughs, inspiring the iconic look of the Joker. This silent film character's eerie smile continues to influence the horror genre and the beloved Batman villain we know today. Number 46. Bran Castle, Romania. A looming fortress, Bran Castle, nestled in Romania, has long been associated with the legend of Dracula. Said to have inspired Bram Stoker's novel, the castle was restored to its former glory after Transylvania became part of Romania. It became a favorite residence of Queen Maria, adding a touch of royalty to its legendary allure. Number 45. Victorian radiator with warming oven. The Victorians had a knack for ingenious solutions, like this radiator with a built-in warming oven. In dining rooms, these marvels not only kept the temperature cozy, but also warmed food and drinks, making Victorian households both practical and stylish. Number 44. Bob Ross feeding a baby raccoon. Bob Ross, the gentle painter, was also an animal lover, running a personal animal shelter in Florida. He had a way with critters, even nursing an injured alligator back to health.
I spent several hours just playing with him, and I thank Diana for sharing that with us. He is absolutely gorgeous.
Number 43. Ottoman supply train ambushed by Lawrence of Arabia, World War I. The legendary figure T.E. Lawrence, known as Lawrence of Arabia, played a crucial role in dismantling the Ottoman Empire during World War I. He strategically targeted supply trains, leaving many stranded in the desert. Number 42. Salvador Dali walking his anteater, 1969. Surrealist painter Salvador Dali was known for his eccentricity, as evidenced by him casually walking an anteater through the streets of Paris. Number 41. Smiling postman with Christmas parcels, Chicago, 1929. In the 1920s, a dedicated postman is pictured here, working on Christmas Day to ensure the timely delivery of holiday parcels. These unsung heroes braved the elements to bring joy and gifts to families during the festive season. Number 40. Cool kids riding Schwinn Stingrays in the 60s. In the 60s, every cool kid wanted a Schwinn Stingray, known for its sports car look. With short frames, high-rise handlebars, and unique bucket-shaped saddles, Stingrays became the iconic bikes of the era, inspiring adventure and excitement among young riders. Number 39. Rudeness not tolerated sign in a diner. In the 40s and 50s, diners didn't tolerate rude behavior from customers. Signs like this one were a reminder that respect for staff and fellow patrons was paramount, maintaining a pleasant atmosphere for everyone. Number 38. Women delivering ice in Lower Manhattan, NYC, 1918. In the early 20th century, ice deliveries were vital to keeping food fresh in homes without refrigeration. These hardworking women stepped up during World War I, filling the roles left by men who had joined the military, ensuring that life continued as usual. Number 37. Sir Ian McKellen with stunt doubles on the Lord of the Rings set. The iconic Sir Ian McKellen, who portrayed Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, cherishes fond memories of filming in New Zealand. Number 36. Retired teacher Antonio Lacava and his Il Bibliomotocaro. In Spain, retired teacher Antonio Lacava found a unique way to promote literacy and bring books to remote areas. His Bibliomotocaro, a traveling library, drives from town to town, providing people of all ages access to the joy of reading. Number 35. The Statue of Liberty in its original copper form. The iconic Statue of Liberty, symbolizing freedom and hope, was originally crafted in copper by French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. Designed by Gustave Eiffel, the statue was initially a gleaming copper hue. Over time, exposure to the salty sea air caused the surface to oxidize, resulting in its now famous green patina. France gifted this remarkable statue to the US in 1886, and in return, America sent a quarter-scale replica of the statue back to France, which now stands proudly in the heart of the River Seine. Number 34. Yoda's creator based the character's design off of his own face. The beloved Star Wars character Yoda was brought to life by makeup artist Stuart Freeborn, who drew inspiration from his own face. Known for his work on various films, including Stanley Kubrick's projects and the creation of Chewbacca, Freeborn crafted Yoda's unique appearance, reflecting his own features.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Number 33. Betty Robinson, first Olympic gold medalist for women's 100-meter dash. As a remarkable 16-year-old, Betty Robinson sprinted her way to victory, becoming the first Olympic gold medalist in the women's 100-meter dash at the 1928 Amsterdam Olympics. Born in Riverdale, near Chicago, she didn't even know that women could compete in running events until she achieved this milestone. Number 32. A young Bela Lugosi before coming to the United States. Before gaining fame as the iconic Dracula, Bela Lugosi was a dashing young man making his mark on the stage in Hungary. In 1920, he emigrated to the United States, where he mastered English and ultimately secured the role of Count Dracula. Number 31. Carved wood skeleton rocking chair from 19th century Russia. This eerie yet intricately carved rocking chair from 19th century Russia captures attention with its skeletal design. While unique and undoubtedly a conversation piece, it's hard to imagine sitting comfortably in this macabre furniture. Number 30. A beautiful Moroccan Jewish woman in traditional clothing. This rare photograph showcases the exquisite traditional clothing worn by a Moroccan Jewish woman in the 19th or 20th century. Modesty was essential during this era, leading to elaborate and ornate attire for women, with many choosing to cover their hair and faces. Number 29. Early toaster from the past. The art of toasting bread has a long history, and this early 1893 electric toaster shows the ingenuity of the era. Although not as advanced as modern toasters, this contraption efficiently toasted one side of bread at a time, requiring the eater's vigilance for the perfect level of crispness. Number 28. Emperor Nicholas II and Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna at Winter Palace. This colorized photograph immortalizes Emperor Nicholas II of Russia and Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna attending a ball at the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg in 1903.
Простите мне, пожалуйста. Простите.
Number 27. One of the last photos of Laurel and Hardy, 1956. The legendary comedy duo Laurel and Hardy enjoyed a successful career together spanning decades. Initially, their relationship was purely professional, but over time they formed a deep bond and true friendship. Number 26. The 1930 Steamline KJ Henderson motorcycle. This stunning motorcycle from 1930 exudes a futuristic aesthetic ahead of its time. Designed by Orly Ray Courtney, the bike features a unique aerodynamic look with hoods around the tires. While this design aimed to protect riders from weather elements, it ultimately fell out of fashion, giving way to exposed tire designs. Number 25. Babe Ruth knocked out after running into a wall, 1924. On July 5, 1924, baseball legend Babe Ruth experienced a moment of misfortune during a game in Washington. Chasing a foul ball, he collided with a concrete wall, knocking himself unconscious for several minutes. Despite the accident, Ruth displayed his resilience by continuing to play the game afterward. Number 24. A member of the Queen's Guard sentry charmed at the Tower of London, 1953. Even the stoic Queen's Guard sentries can't resist the charm of an adorable child. Number 23. A young Native American woman and child at a train station, 1930. As the 20th century unfolded, Native Americans faced displacement and hardship, often leading to a nomadic lifestyle or confinement to reservations. Number 22. Antique hearse from Dresden, Germany. This antique hearse from Dresden, Germany exudes elegance and dignity, fitting for its solemn purpose. An ornate Gothic design gives this hearse a striking presence. Number 21. Doris Eaton Travis, the last of the acclaimed Ziegfeld girls. She was part of the spectacular Ziegfeld Follies on Broadway, where she dazzled audiences with her talent and beauty. Her incredible career spanned decades, and she continued to perform whenever possible. As a cherished part of entertainment history, she reflected on her time with the Follies as, quote, beauty, elegance, loveliness, like a French painting of a woman's body, end quote. Number 20. A classic photo booth portrait, 1960s. This classic 1960s photo booth portrait captures the charm of a bygone era, when capturing moments with a camera was a bit more of an adventure. Before the era of smartphones and selfies, people had to rely on photo booths or figure out the timer on their film cameras to take self-portraits. Many of us treasure such photo booth slips as cherished mementos, preserving memories of happy times with friends, family, or loved ones. Number 19. The futuristic-looking 1938 Dymaxion. Buckminster Fuller's 1938 Dymaxion is a fascinating blend of futuristic design and automotive engineering. This innovative vehicle, resembling a cross between a car and a boat, was envisioned to revolutionize transportation with its aerodynamic body and fuel efficiency during the Great Depression. Unfortunately, the Dymaxion never progressed beyond the prototype stage. With only 3 original Dymaxions and 2 replicas in existence, this car remains a rare gem of automotive history. Number 18. Cowboys at a Saloon in Tascosa, Texas, 1907. This breathtaking photograph takes us back to the Old West, depicting cowboys at a saloon in Tascosa, Texas in 1907. It perfectly encapsulates the spirit of the Wild West, complete with dust on the trail, iconic 10-gallon hats, and sturdy chaps, reflecting the ruggedness of cowboy life. While some elements of the traditional cowboy image may have been fictionalized to some extent, this photograph echoes the essence of that historical era. Number 17. Outlaws Henry McCarty, Doc Holliday, Jesse James, and Charlie Baudry, 1879. Legends of the Wild West come to life in this photograph of infamous outlaws Henry McCarty, better known as Billy the Kid, Doc Holliday, Jesse James, and Charlie Baudry in Las Vegas, New Mexico, 1879. These men were part of the Regulators, a group of self-appointed lawmen who carried out justice according to their own interpretation of the law in New Mexico. While Billy the Kid and Doc Holliday are often remembered for evading the law, they enjoyed a period of celebrity and anti-hero status in New Mexico for a short while. Number 16. Hupa Man Fishing with a Spear, 1923. This fascinating image takes us to the Native American tribe of the Hupa in northwestern California during 1923. The Hupa people excelled in various traditional skills such as basket weaving, elk horn carving, and, as seen in this photograph, fishing. The Hupas primarily fished for salmon in the Klamath and Trinity rivers, using ingenious techniques like building fishing weirs, wooden barriers that allowed water to flow freely while slowing fish. Number 15. A New York tunnel officer in his catwalk car. In 1955, New York introduced these catwalk cars, cute little vehicles that tunnel officers used to patrol the Holland Tunnel. Only 2 feet wide, they featured a swivel seat for ease of maneuver. The catwalk cars were perfect for keeping an eye on drivers traveling from New Jersey to New York as they whisked through the tunnel at speeds of 6 to 12 miles per hour. They were hornless, as none was needed in the confined tunnel space. Number 14. Romani Girl with Mandolin, 1910. The Romani people, often referred to as gypsies, have gifted the world with a rich musical heritage that draws on themes from various Eastern European sources. This photograph showcases a Romani girl with her mandolin in 1910, representing the cultural significance of music within the Romani community. Their music, comprising traditional folk songs passed down through generations, has left an indelible mark on various genres, including the enchanting gypsy jazz and even orchestral productions. Number 13. Ruth Law, the Daring Aviator. Meet Ruth Law, one of the pioneering female aviators of the early 20th century. In 1912, she made history by purchasing her first airplane from Orville Wright himself. With her pilot certificate in hand, Ruth embarked on a journey of exploration, perfecting daring stunts like the loop-the-loop. Her most significant achievement came in 1916 when she set a new cross-country distance record by flying from Chicago to Hornell, New York in her, quote, obsolete machine. Number 12. Sailors from 1910, or members of a sassy new indie rock band? Ah, the Sailors from 1910. Or is it the members of a sassy new indie rock band? Well, in the early 20th century, the U.S. Navy faced an interesting situation, with many sailors serving for only about 4 years, and a surprisingly large number of them leaving before their terms were up. Between 1900 and 1908, the Navy lost over 15% of its enlisted forces to desertion each year. However, by 1914, new rules were implemented to improve the comfort of naval officers, even allowing for some leniency when they broke the rules. Instead of going to prison, they could spend time in the brig and then return to their posts. Number 11. Smitten with this kitten's smile. A girl and her kitten smile for the camera, 1955. There's hardly anything more adorable than a girl and her kitten, and this photo from 1955 captures the essence of childhood in the 50s and 60s. Just look at that matching smile between the girl and her feline companion. It's a heartwarming moment that must have left a lasting memory of friendship and companionship. Cats are not usually known for grinning, but this kitty seems to be quite the exception, perhaps smitten with the affection and love of its human friend. Number 10. A giant spider crab found in Japan, 1904. Meet the Japanese spider crab, also known as Taka ashigani, or tall legs crab. Native to the Pacific Ocean near Japan, these giant crabs can live up to a whopping 100 years and boast an impressive arm span, with legs reaching up to 15 feet in length. These armored crustaceans, with their exoskeletons protecting them from predators, prefer deep ocean depths of 500 to 1,000 feet. Number 9. Breastplate that belonged to 19-year-old Antoine Fraveau, who didn't survive the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. The horrors of war are encapsulated in this poignant artifact. This bronze breastplate belonged to Antoine Fraveau, a 19-year-old soldier who tragically lost his life at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. The cannonball impact pierced both the body armor and young Antoine, leading to his untimely demise. It serves as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by soldiers on the battlefield and the human toll of warfare. Number 8. Colorized photo of the Grand Duchess Elizabeth Feodorovna in 1887. Before her tragic fate in 1918, she was recognized as one of the most caring royals of the 20th century. Born Princess Elizabeth of Hesse and by Rhine in the United Kingdom, she married Grand Duke Sergei Alexandrovich of Russia in 1884. Throughout her life, she played a pivotal role in arranging marriages within the royal bloodline. After her husband's passing, she became the abbess of the convent of Saints Martha and Mary in 1909. Number 7. Cell phones were predicted in 1953. But what about Apple smartwatches? A visionary glimpse into the future. In 1953, Mark Sullivan of the Pacific Telephone and Telegraph Company predicted several technological advancements, including cell phones and even smartwatches. Although he might not have specifically mentioned Apple smartwatches, it's fascinating to see how technology has evolved to include features like video chat and translation apps, which were once merely speculative ideas. Number 6. Stylish undergraduates walk through Cambridge University, 1926. This image showcases the fashionable young men of the early 20th century, who were as smart with their clothing choices as they were on the prestigious Ivy League campuses. Notably, they sported Oxford bags, a style of wide-leg trousers that earned its name from the prestigious university. While the exact origin of these trousers remains somewhat mysterious, it's believed that they were first popularized by the rowers on Oxford's crew teams. From there, the fashion quickly spread, resulting in some remarkably wide pants, reaching up to 44 inches in width at their largest. Number 5. The disembodied arm and torch of the Statue of Liberty in New York City's Madison Square Park. In this intriguing photograph, we see the disembodied arm of the Statue of Liberty, which once resided in the park. Due to financial constraints faced by designer Eugene Emmanuel Viollet-le-Duc, the statue's body was shipped from Paris to the US piece by piece. To complete the statue, funding had to be secured through various efforts, culminating in the statue's official unveiling in 1886.
She came as a gift from the people of France to the people of America, but some thought she was a suspicious gift.
Number 4. Lviv pogroms. A woman being chased by young men and boys with wooden clubs. 1941. The Lviv pogroms were a series of riots that took place in German-occupied Lviv, Ukraine, then eastern Poland. In these violent events, Ukrainian nationals, joined by German death squads, targeted and mercilessly killed thousands of Jews. This was part of the larger anti-Jewish movement of the time, which is now considered to be part of the Holocaust. The image shows a horrifying scene of a woman being hunted down and pursued by young men and boys with wooden clubs, a haunting reminder of the dark and heartbreaking events of that time. Number 3. Real or fake? This triple-decker bus in Berlin, Germany could revolutionize public transportation. All aboard the triple-decker bus? Well, not quite. This eye-catching image of a triple-decker bus from 1926 is in fact a clever April Fool's Day joke. Published in the corporate newspaper Echo Continental, this fictional bus was touted as the brand new innovation that Berlin was working on. While double-decker buses have proved their worth in big cities, a triple-decker would certainly be an unwieldy challenge to maneuver. Alas, this amusing hoax reminds us of the creative imagination and sense of humor people have had throughout history. Number 2. people living a normal life with mummies in Venzone, Italy in 1950. Experience the eerie and fascinating world of Venzone, Italy, where residents lived with mummified remains of their deceased relatives. This extraordinary tradition dates back to the 14th century, when the Great Plague ravaged the village. The sheer number of deaths overwhelmed the local cemetery, leading to bodies being stacked in the church basement. Fast forward to 1647, when the church was rebuilt and the mummified bodies were found, believed by the villagers to be a sign from God. Families reclaimed their mummified relatives and brought them home, perpetuating this macabre tradition until the 1950s. This strange chapter of history was captured by Life magazine photographer Jack Burns. Number 1. Portrait of Robert Earl Hughes, 1926 to 1958, petting the family dog in Fishhook, Illinois, 1949. Meet Robert Earl Hughes, the heaviest man in the world during his lifetime. This photo shows him petting the family dog in Fishhook, Illinois in 1949. Despite his initial average infancy, at just 5 months old, Robert contracted a whooping cough, which led to a rupture of his thyroid gland and tremendous weight gain. At his peak, he weighed a staggering 1,071 pounds. Remarkably, he was not completely bedridden and supported himself financially by selling photographs of himself and making guest appearances at various events. It's been a pleasure taking you along on this bone-chilling journey through history. Feel free to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell if you crave more eerie discoveries. Stay tuned.